Daf Yomi, Tractate, Sanhedrin, page 109. A, top of the page, with the words Man Nishader Nishadar Bahai Behadei Nachum Ish Gamzu De Me Lumad B'Nisimhu. With whom shall we send the gift? They decided we will send it with Nachum of Gamzu, as he experienced in miracles. So they wanted to send a gift to the king, and they picked Nachum of Gamzu. And we were saying how Nachum would always say, Gamzu Tova, this too is for the best. Okay? And these are a little bit long pieces, but I'll say it all in the Aramaic / Hebrew first, so that you can hear the whole idea afterwards. Kimat alahu dir bahayad lemevat amri le ma'ika bihadach amalahu kama mavilna kirega de kesar kamu balayla sharono le sifte ushkalu kol dehavigavi meron afra kimat alahatam ishtakach afra amar achoche kamechaiche bi Yehudae Apku lemiktele amar gamzu letova ata Eliyahu v'idmi lehu kechad binayu amar lehu dirma hai afra me'afra d'Avram Avinu tehave shadei afra have chavegi le havu gire beduk ve'ashkach ochachi. When he reached a certain lodging, he sought to sleep there. The residents of that lodging said to him, "What do you have with you?" Nachum said to him, "I am taking the head tax to the emperor." They rose in the night, opened his chest, and took everything that was in it, and then filled the chest with dirt. When he arrived there in Rome, earth was discovered in the chest. The emperor said, "The Jews are mocking me by giving me this gift." They took Nachum out to kill him. Nachum said, "This too is for the best." Elijah the prophet came and appeared to them as one of Nachum's traveling party. Elijah said to them, "Perhaps this earth is from the earth of Abraham, our forefather, who would throw dust and it became swords, and who would throw straw and it became arrows." They examined the dust and discovered that it was indeed the dust of Abraham. Amri shikol dirichala l'mayla l'sifta diava gihadaras amrle hanach diore mai imtet lebe malka amar lahu mai di shakali mehacha amtai lahatam shakti intum tu lahatam bitinu hanachta eori. There was a province that the Romans were unable to conquer. They threw some of this earth upon that province, and they conquered it. In appreciation for the gift that Nachum of Gamzu had brought on behalf of the Jewish people, they brought him into the treasury and said, "Take that which is preferable to you." He filled his chest with gold. When he returned to that lodging, those residents said to him, "What did you bring to the king's palace?" Nachum said to them, "What I took from here, I brought to there." The residents concluded that the earth with which they had filled the chest had miraculous properties. They took earth and brought it to the emperor. Once the Romans discovered that the earth was ineffective in battle, they executed those residents. Dor hapalaga ein lahem chelik le'olam haba v'chule ma yavud Amri debe Rabbi Sheila Nivna Migdal Venare Rakia Venakeos of Ikar Dumot כדי שיזובו מימיו מחכו עלה במערבה, אם כן לבנוח בתורה. The Mishnah teaches that the members of the generation of the dispersion, which is the generation of the Tower of Babel, have no share in the world to come. The Gemara asks, what sin did they perform? Their sin is not explicitly delineated in the Torah. The school of Rabbi Shela say that the builders of the Tower of Babel said, we will build a tower and ascend to heaven, and we will strike it with axes so that its waters will flow. They laughed at this explanation in the West. Eretz Yisrael asked, if that was their objective, let them build a tower on a mountain. Why did they build it in a valley? See Genesis 11:2. Ela amar Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Elazar, נחלקו 3 כיתות, אחת אומרת נעלה ונשב שם, ואחת אומרת נעלה ונעבוד עבודה זרה, ואחת אומרת נעלה ונעשה מלחמה זו, שאומרת נעלה ונשב שם בביצום השם, וזו שאומרת נעלה ונעשה מלחמה נעשו כויפים, ברוחויס ושדים ודילים, וזו שאומרת נעלה ונעבוד עבודה זרה, כי שם בלל השם צפת כל הארץ. Rather, Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Elazar says, they divided into 3 factions. One said, let us ascend to the top of the tower and dwell there. And one said, let us ascend to the top of the tower and engage in idol worship. And one said, let us ascend to the top of the tower and wage war. With regard to that faction that said, let us ascend to the top of the tower and dwell there, God dispersed them. And that faction had said, let us ascend to the top of the tower and wage war, became apes and spirits and demons and female demons. And with regard to that faction that said, let us ascend to the top of the tower and engage in idol worship, it is written, because there the Lord confounded the language of all the earth. Genesis 11:9. Tanya Revidas Kulum. Kulam Hashem is all of this common. Ketiv Hakanas Elano Shem. Uketiv Asam Shem Levacher was to skiru Malahalan Verizah. Afkan Verizah. It is taught in Braita, Rabbi Natan says, all of those factions intended to build a tower for the sake of idol worship. It is written here, and let us make a name for us, Genesis 11:4, and it is written there, and make no mention of the name of the other gods. Exodus 23:13, just as there the connotation of name is idol worship, so to here the connotation of name is idol worship. Rabbi Yohanan, Migdal Shlish, Nisraf Shlish, Nivla Shlish, Kayam. Shlish Nesaref, Shlish Nivla, Shlish Kayam. Amara, Ba'avir Migdal, Mishakeach, Amar Yosef, Babel, Uborisif, Siman Ra le Torah, Mai Borisif, Amar Yosef, Bor Shafeh. Rabbi Yochanan says, the uppermost third of the tower was burned. The lowermost third of the tower was swallowed into the earth, and the middle third remained intact. Rav says, the atmosphere of the tower causes forgetfulness. Anyone who goes there forgets what he has learned. As a result of building the tower, forgetting was introduced to the world. Rabbi Yosef says Babylonia was the adjacent place. Borsif are each a bad omen for Torah, meaning that they cause one to forget his knowledge. The Gemara asks, what is the meaning of Borsif? Asi says it's abbreviation of empty pit. Borshafe. Anshe Sidon. Anshe Sidon Elohim Chelek L'Olam Haba V'Koleh. Tanu Rabbanan אנשי סדום אין להם חלק לעולם הבא, שנאמר ואנשי סדום רעים וחטאים לשם מאוד. Roim bo'olam hazeh v'chatoim bo'olam habo. The Mishnah teaches the people of Sodom have no share in the world to come. The sages taught that people of Sodom have no share in the world to come, as it is stated, and the men of Sodom were wicked and the sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Genesis 13:13. Wicked indicates in this world, and sinners indicates for the world to come. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Roim begufan v'chataim b'memoinam. Roim begufan dichsiv v'ech esehara gedoyla hazois. V'chatas Elohim v'chataim b'memoinam dichsiv v'haya b'cha chet l'Hashem. Zo birchas Hashem me'oid shemizkavni v'chotim. Rabbi Yehuda says wicked is referring to sins that they committed with their bodies, and sinners is referring to sins they committed with their money. Wicked is referring to sins they committed with their bodies, as it is risen with regard to Joseph and the wife of Potiphar. And how can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39, verse 9. And sinners is referring to sins they committed with their money, as it is written, and your eye is wicked against you, your poor brother, and you give him nothing, for it shall be reckoned to you as a sin. Deuteronomy 15, verse 9. But the Lord, this is referring to blessing, a euphemism for cursing God. Exceedingly means that they had intent and sinned, and did not sin unwittingly or driven by lust. They were bad. B'matnita tana, roim b'memoinam, v'chataim begufan roim b'memoinam dichtiv, v'roi nechvachin avyoim v'chataim begufan dichtiv v'chatas Elohim l'Hashem zeu berchas Hashem ve'oid zu shlichas domim shnever gam dam naki shafach b'nash b'Yerushalayim ar b'meoid v'goyim. It was taught in Bright to wicked is referring to sins they committed with their money, and sinners is referring to sins that they commit with their bodies. Wicked is referring to sins they commit with their money, as it is written, and you are as wicked against your poor brother, and you give him nothing. Deuteronomy 15:9. And sinners is referring to sins they committed with their bodies, as is written, with regard to Joseph, like Potiphar, sin against God. Genesis 39, verse 9. Before the Lord, this is referring to blessing, which means the euphemism for cursing God. Exceedingly me'od is referring to bloodshed, as it is stated, moreover, Manasseh shed me'od, a lot of blood. 2 Kings 21:16. Tanu abanan, Tanu abanan. Jesus lo nidgao, ela b'shvil tova שהשפיע עליהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא, ומה כתיב? בהם ארץ ממנו יצא לחם ותחתיה נהפך כמו אש, מקום ספיר אבניה ועפרות זהב לו, נתיב לא יודעו, עית ולא שזפתו, עין היה, לא הדריכו בני שחץ, לא עדה עליו שחל. The sages taught the people of Sodom became haughty and sinned due only to the excessive goodness that the Holy One, blessed be He, bestowed upon them. And what is written concerning them, indicating that goodness? As for the earth, out of it comes bread, and underneath it is turned up. It is turned up as if it were by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. That path no bird of prey knows, neither has the falcon's eye seen it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the lion passed thereby. Job 28:5-8. The reference is to the city of Sodom, which was later overturned, as it is stated thereafter. He puts forth his hand to the flinty rock. He overturned the mountains by the roots. Job 28, 9. אמרו וכי מאחר שארץ ממנה יצא לחם ואפרו זהב לו, למה לנו עוברי דרכים שאין באים אלינו אלא לחסרנו ממונהו, באו ונשכח תורס רגל מארצנו, שנאמר פרס נחל מאים גל נשכחים מני רגל דנו מראש. No. The people of Sodom said, since we live in a land from which the bread comes and has the dust of gold, we have everything that we need. Why do we need travelers as they come only to divest us of our property? Come, let us cause the proper treatment of travelers to be forgotten from our land. As it is stated, he breaks open a water course in a place far from inhabitants, forgotten by pedestrians. They are dried up. They have moved away from men. Job 28 verse 4. Dash Rava taught. My dichtiv. Tehotet alish tiratzchu kulam gikir natui gadera dchuya melabesha hayu. Notice in Enim Bebavel Mamashir, notice it's a kir. That do the say, but Allah, Boim Noitin, as we know. Rava taught, what is the meaning of that which is written? How long will you seek to overwhelm a man? You will all be murdered like a leaning wall or a tottering fence. Psalm 62, verse 4. This teaches that the people of Sodom set their sights on property owners. They would take one and place him alongside an inclined flimsy wall that was about to fall and push it upon to kill him, and then they would take his property. Darash Rava, my dichti. Rav expounded. My dichti. חדר בראשך ותיום מלכיד ולמו לא ידעו אור ולמד שהיו נועסים עיניהם בבנימה מפקידים אצלו עפר סימון ומניחים עושו בבית גנזיהם באים ומכין עושו הכלב שנאמר ישוב להרביהם וכן יפרדו עיר ובאים וחייסים שם נועד לנועד Rava taught, what is the meaning of that which is written? In the dark they dug through houses. By day they shut themselves up. They know not the night. Job 24:16. This teaches they would set their sights on property owners. They would take one and say, they would give him a balsam who smell diffuses, and the property owner would place it in his treasury. In the evening, the people's stomach would come and sniff it out like a dog, and discover the location of the property owner's treasury. And they returned in the evening, they howl like a dog, and they would go around about the city. Psalms 59 verse 7. And after discovering the location, they would come and dig there, and they would take that property. Yalinu mibli lavush in kesus makor. Chamor Yisrael ינהגו יחבלו שור אלמנה גבולות יסיקו עדר גזלו ויראו וכו לקבויס יובל ועל גדיש ישקוד. The Gemara cites verses that allude to the practices of the people of Sodom. They lie at night naked without clothing, and they have no covering in the cold. Job 24:7. Likewise, they drive away the donkey of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox as a pledge. Job 24 verse 3. And likewise, they trespass. They violently steal flocks and graze them. Job 24 verse 2. And likewise, for he is brought to the grave, and watch is kept over his tomb. Job 21:32. Darash Rabbi Yossi b'tzipori achatrayan ahi laila tlat mi'ah mechat ra'ta b'tzipori oto v'kom tzari le Amalei Havita Niganave Amalu Bihavi Yadana Da Da'atu Ganave Kikanach Nafshe Yosi Shifai Mar Zeve Ditzipori Dema. Rabbi Yossi taught in Tzipori the method of theft employed in Sudan. That night, 300 tunnels were excavated in Tzipori in order to employ those methods. Homeowners came and harassed him. They said to him, "You have given a way for thieves to steal." Rabbi Yossi said to him, "Did I know that thieves would come as a result of my lecture?" The Gemara relates when Rabbi Yossi died, the gutters of Tzipori miraculously overflowed with blood as a sign of his death. Amri ditle chad Torah mar'e chad yoma dilet le lir'e tre yome ahu yatma bar armalta yahavu le tore le mir'e azal shaklinu v'katlinu amanu. The people of Saddam would say, anyone who has one ox shall herd the city's oxen for 1 day. Anyone who does not have any oxen shall herd the city's oxen for 2 days. The Gemara relates they gave oxen to a certain orphan, the son of a widow, who to herd. He went and took them and killed them. The orphan said to the people of Sodom,